Snipers, you have to see what's happening to the cryptocurrency market today as Bitcoin has reclaimed the 50-day moving average for the first time since the start of this bear cycle. And today is officially an inflection point for the cryptocurrency market, because now that we are here at this 50-day moving average for the first time since the start of this consolidation that took us down to that $30,000 level, we can now start mapping out, strategizing, and talking about how a successful rescue operation is going to look like. If we can continue to see momentum, then we can potentially start assuming that we could start seeing Bitcoin take the ladder up potentially towards this $44,800 level, which would be my first upside target if we are able to get above 34,788, where we have confluence with the previous weekly open and the monthly open. So I want to talk about the scenario. Remember, it is the weekend, so we have to take everything with a grain of salt because the markets are the most manipulated, with futures markets being closed. It's not going to be an easy run for Bitcoin to get above 34,788. There still is a potential we could be seeing a garden variety pullback to test the weekly open, for example, at 31,800. I'm going to talk about the scenario for Bitcoin, but realize it is an inflection point today. We could assume that with Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey, and Cathie Woods coming together, this is now turning the storyline around for Bitcoin. And just like we've been talking about, and notice how a lot of analysts now are switching their opinions about altcoins, Ethereum showing more strength with Bitcoin, heading towards the monthly open at $2,300 US, with the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart coming back to test this monthly open, getting above this 50-day moving average, and that is reflecting in the total cryptocurrency market cap chart. Now, testing the 50-day moving average as well for the first time since the start of this bear cycle. We weren't at this 50-day moving average since the 17th of May when we crossed below it. Now we are finally testing it for the first time. It is truly an inflection point in the markets today. Others' dominance showing strength above the 200-day moving average, causing us to see altcoins run. Now, if we're really in a bear market, why are altcoins doing so well? Is this just a mid-cycle correction for altcoins to see continued upside, and potentially with Bitcoin now above this 50-day moving average, or at least testing it? And if we get above it, are we going to be seeing the signs of a rescue operation to take us to this 200-day moving average, where if we pull up the weekly chart, remember home base, the 20-week moving average, if we ever get above the 20-week moving average, we're back in a bullish trend. This is also showing confluence at 44,800. That's not a coincidence, because our numbers on the Snipers channel are always exact and they matter. Unlike other analysts, I have nothing against them, but we really consider the levels on our charts, specifically the ones in red, because those are not only important support and resistance levels, but also where there is volume. If we were to pull up a volume profile, which is a little bit more of an advanced indicator, we could look at that. But I'm going to stop rambling, and we're going to just dive into this Bitcoin analysis, because this is a momentous day for the cryptocurrency market. It is an inflection point now that we're testing the 50-day moving average. We can start assuming what would a rescue operation look like from here. You guys are watching the Snipers channel on a Saturday. My name is Naeem Al-Obeidi. Smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. We want to hit 100,000 snipers on this channel. We're almost at 50,000. So with Bitcoin, we're not going to spend too much time on this weekly chart, because we talked about putting this to the side yesterday, because the weekly open is actually showing confluence where this 50-week moving average is sitting right at that $32,000 level. And I told you guys on the 4-hour chart yesterday, if we were going to maintain ourselves at this area and hold this weekly open at 32,000, then we could have assumed a long position here, which, of course, for those in the Discord, you know we've been taking a lot of long positions, specifically on altcoins. As you can see here, since the 21st of June, you can see we've got Monero, Luna, ZRX, The Graph, Stellar. All of these altcoins have hit pretty much all of their targets, because we're seeing so much strength in the altcoin market, despite Bitcoin slowly moving itself up. And if you guys looked at the trade that I talked about yesterday, we held 32,000, and that caused Bitcoin shortly after my video to start pushing its way towards that $34,788 level, exactly as we predicted. Now, here's what we need to monitor. We want to start strategizing what a successful rescue operation would look like. We know altcoins are going to be performing very well. If we were to actually pull up this chart of altcoins, you can see a lot of altcoins here up 7% against Bitcoin. Some of these altcoins are up 3% against Bitcoin. We're seeing a transition away from projects that are less fundamentally sound into projects that are very fundamentally sound for the future of decentralized finance, for example, or decentralized autonomous organizations, right? These are where we're going to be seeing institutional and retail capital flow towards while Bitcoin is consolidating, because we have to realize that Bitcoin can go all the way to 40,000 US dollars at this point, and we are still in a consolidation. And we know when Bitcoin's consolidating, altcoins tend to outperform Bitcoin. So regardless of what happens to Bitcoin, I just want you guys to realize that with Bitcoin moving higher, the opportunity may not be in Bitcoin more than it is in other parts of this market, as we're still in a consolidation phase and altcoin season is still intact. We're only halfway through this year. So let's get back to this analysis. If we want to start assuming a rescue operation here for Bitcoin, 34,788 is where we have confluence with this monthly open, this previous weekly open. The real level is 35,300. If we start to move up and see hourly and 4-hour candles above 35,300, in my opinion, that tells us that the rescue operation is in place and that we are going to start seeing the bulls fight back. And you can see on the 6-hour chart, that would put us above all of these moving averages, which we weren't able to get above throughout the whole consolidation. Now we're testing this 200 period on the 6-hour. We get above this. There's no coincidence why there's so much confluence at this $35,300 level, 34,788, whatever you want to call it. It's all within a few percentage points. We get above this range here where there's so much confluence that could start the momentum that we want to see for Bitcoin. And our first target, in my opinion, if we break through this $35,000 level where we have all this confluence, is going to be this 200-day moving average sitting at that $44,800 level. And that would assume about a 30% upside for Bitcoin. That means 60%, 70% upside for altcoins. Does that sound familiar, by the way? 70% upside for altcoins? What are we watching with Ethereum? We're watching for a potential 70% run to that $34,454 level. We're going to look at altcoins in just a second, but that's the upside for Bitcoin. We get above this area where there's so much confluence, then that's going to be the place that we want to be to start assuming strength and a real rescue operation. So 35,300 is where I'm going to place my number, because that's where that puts us above the monthly open and previous weekly open, and of course above the $34,788 level. And 4-hour and hourly confirmations above that level will assume that we can start potentially coming towards this $44,800 level. I don't think these resistance areas will act too much as resistance if we can get above this area, because there's so much pressure here that could really push us further. Now, it's the weekend, so we have to take everything with a grain of salt. I want to discuss what a more likely or potential neutral situation would look like here. If we're not able to cross this $34,788 level, we start to see some weakness, then I'm okay with that up until this weekly open here at 31,800. Understand that tomorrow I'm going to be changing all of our previous weekly opens, and this is going to move down here. So this is going to become an important level tomorrow for the rest of this week. And so if we start seeing Bitcoin cool down, the Trick, Trap, and Frustrate crew coming in, what we want to monitor is 31,900. If we stay above 31,900, in my opinion, the likelihood of us continuing further up becomes a lot higher. But if we breach this hourly and 4-hour candles at 31,800, that's where I would throw this upside scenario to the side for now and then we could potentially start talking about this just being a rejection of the 50-day moving average. And that would be a different storyline, but I don't want to go there yet because we're following the price action. I'm here to be your umpire. I'm not trying to give you a biased opinion. And the fact of the matter is the price action is at the 50-day moving average. So till we start to see this play out, we're not going to go into it. But if we do get above or below 31,800, understand that is where my area of concern would be, that this was a rejection, not actually a rescue operation. And let's talk about altcoins. We're seeing momentum with altcoins. It's not every altcoin, of course, but we're seeing a lot of altcoins show momentum, like Ethereum, for example. And notice how we're above 1980. This is a major level because remember, this green line is going to move away here soon. Tomorrow, it's going to be down here. And what's going to happen is if we see Bitcoin really start to see momentum, Ethereum now has a chance to test this monthly open at 2270. If we get above this monthly open, now the door opens to 3,500 US dollars. And it's not a coincidence that on August 4th is also the London hard fork. So I guarantee you investors are going to be wanting positions into Ethereum before this hard fork on August 4th. We really need to monitor this area here above this monthly open. We get above 2270. That's a confirmation that not only is Ethereum going to do well, but Cardano may do well. A lot of altcoins will do well because Ethereum is the largest altcoin and it will lead the other altcoins. Now, we get back below 1980 and that changes the scenario. We get below 1890, which is the weekly open, just like Bitcoin, then that would also change the scenario. That would be a little bit more of a concern. But for now, we have to be the umpire and realize that this is the level for us to break out. And so that's what I'm watching here for Ethereum. And then if we look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, I'm going to quickly just talk about the 65,000 Satoshi level. There's not a coincidence that the monthly open is sitting here. We get above 65,000 Satoshis. That's a strong confirmation for altcoins. And we look at others' dominance, and we're seeing that translate with others' dominance holding this 200-day moving average, getting back above 12%. That tells me that we're still in this bullish trend, and this could potentially have just been a very bullish flag after the start of altcoin season to then continue further up, because garden variety market behavior says that previous resistance at this 12% level will turn into support. And so if that's the case, then this should hold. And every analyst said the altcoin season was over. And I told you guys, I don't care what they're saying. I'm going to just be your umpire. I thought altcoin season was still intact. And now guess what? Everyone's switching their opinion. It's not a coincidence because remember, this is the most bullish chart in the market sitting right here at this 20-week moving average. Bitcoin's 20-week moving average is at 44,800. We're nowhere near it, right? So this is more bullish than Bitcoin's chart. It's one of the revolving parts of the cryptocurrency market, and it's important to watch. So we'll watch Bitcoin dominance as well as we see altcoin dominance unfold. And then with the gold to Bitcoin chart, I'm not going to go through traditional markets. It's Saturday. Tomorrow we'll talk about traditional markets. But notice how this had this ascending triangle that it had the chance to break out from, and it failed, and it's starting to break through. And it's coming down to test this monthly open. I'm going to be watching this area. We break this monthly open, in my opinion, that says that we're going to be seeing more capital flow into Bitcoin, and that gold was just playing games here, trying to come back to test this 2018 support that is now obviously going to be resistance, and it didn't even get the chance to get tested. That's a positive sign for the narrative of Bitcoin being a storage of value similar to gold, but being in its earlier phases, which means that there's more upside, right? So a lot happening in the markets today. We really want to monitor what happens to Bitcoin here. Remember, this area has so much resistance and confluence that will translate into a lot of pressure to the upside. If we can break 35,300, we get above that monthly open, 34,788, that's going to be a huge play for Bitcoin. And of course, if we stay above 31,800, things are fine because that's where the weekly open is going to sit. And the previous weekly open here is going to be here tomorrow, right? Because those are going to reset, and we can use that as an area of monitoring in order to assume whether there's going to be a downside scenario or not. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuned into the Snipers channel. If you want to win Principles by Ray Dalio, comment below and share this video. You'll have a chance to win. I'm going to pick a winner from our video yesterday. We'll wrap up this Saturday update. Marco Marcelo says, great update. Now keep them coming. Thank you. Send me a message on Instagram. You want a book. And with that, I appreciate each and every one of you snipers tuning in the channel. Let's hit 100,000 snipers on this channel. We're at 50,000. I can't wait to hit that goal. And I will see you guys on Sunday. Until next time, snipers.